Good evening. There's a new government and I'm bored. So I'm going to tell you some stories. This is the vicious beheading of a man called Gunnar Rigby. Yeah, that's the Eleanor Rigby Beatles joke. Look at the black man with the blood on his hands. His name is Adebowale. Let's get the pictures out of the way. I'm going to put you straight on something. There's the murder of Lee Rigby, the Royal Artillery Barracks, all of the MI6 presence, all of the false police who received my emails on the massive fraud that is the planting of a House of Lords member into the House of Lords, who's now profiting from the whole process. Let me give you the gory details of that. The head was never found, incidentally, and Eleanor Rigby is the name of the war widow that the Beatles sang about. Yeah, there's a gravestone in Liverpool to commemorate the war dead person that never returned to Liverpool, and the whole thing is a massive stitch up. But this Adebowale yeah, this Adebowale is not actually the Adebowale that interlocks with the massive financial criminals on the Rothschilds boards and the HSBC boards. This is just a House of Lords member recently planted there and the front that they have to make that man a director on the public policy research committees and on the funding issues and the fiscal issues in the House of fucking Lords. It is absolutely condemning what the government actually represents. Yeah, it is a massive fraud and series of crimes against the people, and two mosques were burnt in Woolwich in the ensuing violence perpetrated by law enforcement Britain, because I did my PhD in Thames Polytechnic in Woolwich. Right then, let me show you the pictures and the damning evidence that the whole thing, the whole of our government, is now just a scam. So there is Lord Adebowale, full title, the Lord Adebowale CBE. We cannot see his hands. Party group crossbench, joined the Lords 30th of June 2001. Okay, his contact address is victor@leadershipinmind.co.uk. You cannot now contact all of the Lords because they've got a contact address that shields them from publicity or adverse questions that they would be unable to answer, like this guy. So you have to contact hallmember@parliament.uk. That's the address for the whole of the House of Lords, and there are so many of the blood-sucking bastards now that they can barely get into the building when the Queen makes her speech. I don't know, I pointed this one. He's got CEOs at Turning Point, CEO at Centre Point, CEO Alcohol Recovery Project, Regional Director Housing Association, Housing Manager Housing Association Local Government. Yeah, the dates for that are 2001 onwards, 1995 to 2001. The others are in the past tense. Let me now take you to his business registrations, and it is really dirty. Right then, here we have him, Lord Adebowale, and he's got two entries in the things. Victor Adebowale holds 10 appointments at 8 active companies, so he's telling lies in his parliamentary register. Isn't that sinful for someone who's associated with the burning of 2 mosques and the demonisation of Islam for profit? And he's got plenty of that further down. Yeah, he's resigned from 7 companies and held 1 appointment at 1 dissolved companies. Victor began their first appointment at the age of 39. This man's in the House of Lords as a veteran in the theft sector. The longest current appointment spans 13 years and 8 months at Turning Point, and a whole variety of Ponzi's below that. The combined cash at bank value for all businesses where Victor holds a current appointment equals 6.7 million, with a combined total current assets value of 20.3 million and current liabilities of 16.4. Victor is a director and a company secretary in the Scams, registered address 134 Edmund Street, Birmingham, B3 2ES. Director number for this one listing 916150247. Let me quickly skim through what he does for a living. And all of it is active. That is the year 2008. Look at the activity beyond that. Look at the number of declarations this man has made on his parliamentary registration, and you will see how facetious law enforcement Britain and the financial regulators are in Britain. And remember that this is a terror event that could have sparked World War III if they had had their way and they had not got insightful commentators looking over their every murderous and treasonous act now. I don't know what country this guy's originally from. He's got the Rasta locks. Turning Point, okay? Turning Point Services Limited, Turning Point Building Futures Limited, New Aylesbury Trust Limited, Institute for Fiscal Studies, the in brackets, Leadership in Mind Limited, 360 Action Limited, THP Innovate Limited, the Calabria ICIC, Places for People Group Limited, the Poetry Translation Centre Limited, ever so artistic, as they steal from the people, English Touring Theatre Limited, Locality UK Commission for Employment and Skills. I cannot get a job. This one gets the job in the false news sector, the Ponzi scheme sector, and out of the Aylesbury epicentre that is the Rothschilds fraud sector Inc. brutalise the whole world and control its issuance of money sector. Okay, so there's the graph. I will not be able to replicate that graph. I'm going to take a look back now at what his other registered set of companies are. Okay, and let's just look at the ones he's resigned from and his co-directors on this. UK Commission for Employment and Skills. Isn't that great? I wonder where he was educated. Yeah, millions at the bank. But this is not the big one. This is not the really big one that I've found on the HSBC. I think there's a couple of letters inverted in that one. Okay, so here's his interlocking directors, and I can't see any particularly huge names. Turning Point, Prideaux's, James's, Parker's, Hoare's, Picknett's, Williams, Woods, Bailey's. Secretary is Adebowale and director is Adebowale. 15/12/2008 and appointed as the secretary in 2001. Yeah, the Woolwich Terror took place just 2 or 3 years ago, maybe less than that. Okay, I cannot see any really stunningly big names, but there's a Joyce. That could be Lord Haw Haw's family. This is a Conservative politician, by the way. McKittrick's, Adiagbo, Noreen Rosina Law, Alison Mitchell, Celeste Halliday, Dee Narga, Wilson's, Al Khalifa's, that's a famous name. There's a Crowther. Do you remember the Leslies on Blue Peter? With the Singletons, all of those are covers for financial criminals in the big sector. There's a Brodie, not Miss Jean but Miss Judith Ann, Clements, Ellis, Wood, Professor David Crosdale Appleby, Dr. Wendy Thompson, Mr. Rex Alexander Hewitt. Very few lords and ladies so far. There's a doctor, Angela Isabella Agnes Prida. Bailey Lord Victor Alufemi Adebowale, 18 companies, 7 resigned. Websters, 2 different Websters. Talbots, Hallidays, Woods, Wignalls, Turning Point Building Futures Limited, Miss Zelda Maxine Peters, Cormac Adebowale, Lord Victor Alufemi Adebowale, so this is Leadership in Mind Limited, appointed 2005. Lady Tracy Gale Adebowale Jones, isn't that lovely with the hyphen added, for Wales. If you're not a classical fraud scholar, the for Wales joke is about the execution of Sir Thomas More, who did not understand that religion was a fraud even although he could speak Latin, and they mention that quite a lot in the film that they made. There's Lady Tracy. She's on the take at 12 St Margaret's Road, London, E12 5DP. I don't know what the Woolwich constituency number is. She's really poor compared to her hubby, or maybe even her dad, born in 1963. I don't think it will be her dad. Okay, so let me take you back to his second directory registration. Lord Adebowale. I had a look for him first. There we are. So that one that we've just looked at has postcodes for the same person: B3 2ES, E1 8HAA, E12 5DF, E12 5DP, HA4 9LT, Southeast 1 8LJ. That's getting close to Woolwich. Okay, the next one is Lord Victor Olufemi Adebowale before he got his CBE. Let's have a wee look at that one. E15 Sugar House Yard, 20 Sugar House Lane, London, E15 2QS. So the sugar import might be one of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, registered address Unit D2 Sugar House Yard, 20 Sugar House Lane, London, E15 2QS. Lord Sugar is quite a prominent name in the Tottenham Hotspur sector. Right then, let's have a wee look at what this one is. It's only got 49,000 at the bank. Okay, current assets value of 53,000. This is the Urban Development Music Foundation. Give me hope, Joanna, hope, Joanna, hope, Joanna, when the morning comes. Right then, there we go. So there's a name to conjure with. Yeah, you're not allowed to contact him officially in the House of Lords. Yeah, he's only got those 2 or 3 business interests registered. He's got massive holdings, and he must have a massive guilt burden now. And the police in Woolwich, who received my disclosures on the fraud and the cover-up of the financial criminals with links to the HSBC, refused to take that information or acknowledge receipt of it. It's published on my website. This gets a little bit more explicit now, and it goes online within the next 2 hours. Right then, let's have a look again at whether or not we can see the Woolwich mosque burning, because that's what they try to do. Okay, there's the terror event. There's Gunner Rigby in all of his kit. Gordon Bowden told me that that man is not registered on the census records. Okay, that's Gordon Bowden, the world expert with access to the BBC. Okay, Gordon might have changed his mind about that statement, but that's what he told me. There was no Gunner Rigby, and that is part of the art in all of the false news releases that they make. Can you see how deep the criminality goes? Right into the second chamber at the House of Lords. There's the exploded and burnt out mosques, 2 of them. Yeah, and that's all it takes to spark a world war. The Greenwich Islamic Centre, Woolwich Mosque, the yellow-hatted police and the yellow-hatted emergency services. Yeah, all of them come in, play their part, and when the man cuts the head off, there is no head to be found, and there is no fucking blood on the road anywhere near the alleged corpse. The whole thing is a stitch up to take your mind off their crimes and their financial services frauds, and to put into your mind's eye that we are full of immigrants in the UK and all of them are vicious people. There is nothing that could be further from the truth. The ordinary people live in fear of conscription and these armies sweeping into their countries. And the false news that we talk about and talk up in our free press, in inverted commas, about the state of the economy and its buoyancy, it means that people are prepared to flee from all over brutalised Europe, yeah, that has now won the Peace Prize since they got scared of fighting amongst themselves, and they decided big time to take on the North African nations, the people that live in sub-Saharan Africa and the people that live in impoverished Pakistan and India and regions like that, where the gods are totally different to the gods that were invented here by the same profiteers that run the false religion sector. Every one of the messianic religions is false. Okay, I'm just making a snappy little video, and that should shock you. If it does not, then you're prepared to live with the threat of World War III that will consume and kill your own children. When you look up the Islam on the British Business Directory, you get 2,000 hits for Mr. Islam as a director in British companies. All of it is a scaremongering, cheap shot crime against the world's innocence, and they do it over and over and over again. This one is reported by the Huffington Post. Yeah, that's the socialists, that's Noam Chomsky and his affiliates. Okay, Grimsby Islamic Cultural Centre, Grimsby Mosque, with a fire burning incident there. Yeah, it is totally twisted, and if I could find you the Gunner Rigby track, I'll leave you with that. Eleanor Rigby. Okay, let's leave you with a musical note. Yeah, the Beatles are the New World Order's pick to confuse the world, to laugh at the yellow submarine that brings Hitler's friends out of the River Spree region and into the hands of the Fleming family and the double agents and profiteer in the wars. That's why I mentioned Tottenham Hotspur, Lord Sugar, and the training of Stalin in Sydney Street near Tottenham Hotspur football ground. All of them are at the trough for centuries. I'm going to sign off there, and I'm going to play you a little bit of Eleanor Rigby and then possibly a little bit of the Yellow Submarine. That's the non-existent Gunner Rigby. And when you look at the Rigbys, there's a whole family of them. They are registered in Hertfordshire too. They are all over the Ashridge Business College. Yeah, they are all over the HSBC and the New World Order banks, and that is the killing of the bombers on 7/7. They were killed right under the HSBC building on Canary Wharf because their train arrived late and they could not kill themselves in the things that were done by Cressida Dick and the Metropolitan Police on that day. So they had to rely on the Metropolitan Police to gun them down elsewhere in London, a totally different place, and all of that has been reported in global newspapers. In the New Zealand Herald, it actually declared that the suicide bombers were shot by the Met Police, because the whole thing is pretty badly planned and really badly executed, like the whole of the government concept now. It is a theft project and a massive crime against the world's people. This is only the British subsidiary. Right then. So do you get the joke? That's the joke about war widows everywhere. And let's now get you the yellow submarine. They have not actually got cartoons now of a yellow submarine. Oh yeah, they have. Okay, that's the mistake that they make all the time.
In the town where I was born lived a man who sailed to sea.
So that's Hitler, trained in Liverpool after he had been trained in Tavistock. Yeah, not many people know that until the truth comes out, and when it does come out, it comes flooding out, and it takes the whole of the media efforts and false flag news like we had in Woolwich to try and cover that up and spark World War III before anybody notices their massive financial crimes. And the Rigby family, I could look them up for you. I've got PDFs on it. If anybody's interested, get in touch with me. I will send you the PDFs in due course. The whole of our government is a scam and a scandal, and it needs to be brought to its knees. But the police will not do that for you. You need to confront your own MP and tell him you know exactly what is happening. And I intend to do that right from the very first of their motions. Yeah, this is now a new regime. These are the new contact details for these people, and they have the right to remove themselves from contact by the people that they brutalise and steal from. Look at it, all of it is in Rothschild yellow. That is the diaspora out of the river Spree for Hitler and Eva Braun in her little blue dress. Okay, bye bye.
And he told us of his life in the land of submarines.
And the Rothschild yellow tells you that the whole of that war was a profiteering effort. All sides, yeah, same side, all funding to extend the war. Everything that happened at Dunkirk with the Dad's Army incidents, all of it is to get the profiteering optimised and the body count highlighted. Yeah, and right up there into the millions, and all of the innocent bystanders and all of the treasures are laundered through the Swiss neutrality, through neutral Spain, through the Vatican, the diasporas through Odessa in the Ukraine that are still in the news because the US Navy are now parked up there. Yet the whole thing is a theft project. And I met David Stowell, who's on the board at the Future of Syria Foundation, last weekend. He was looking a little bit sheepish, and he looks a little bit shoddy and physically inept now because all of them have massive consciences. That's David Stowell that interlocks with the Fleming family. That's the Bond movie profiteers living their lives in the tax havens. They get all of the contracts, and they have second homes in Hertfordshire where all of the Rothschilds criminals are. Okay? And I believe the Adebowale person, I can't remember where his address is, but some of the new cabinet members are registered in Aylesbury, and one of them's a spinster woman because she does not let men marry into her because she believes that the male gender are greedy and they steal from people. She's put in her time in Washington yeah, as the diplomats in the same road where the IMF thrive from stealing from the people and the refugees in peacetime and wartime. Okay, her name is and I need you to know that I can find these things out really easily. Her name is Baroness Stowell. Political career: after entering the House of Lords in January 2011, Baroness Stowell was promoted to the front bench as government whip. Okay, career before Parliament. She was a civil servant between 1986 and 1996, including at the Ministry of Defence. Yeah, that's the place that blows other countries off the face of the earth, the British Embassy in Washington, and 10 Downing Street. After leaving the civil service, she worked in the private sector for a couple of years, mainly in the media sector. She also served as Deputy Chief of Staff to the leader of the Conservative Party between 1998 and 2001. After working for the Conservative Party, she moved to the BBC and spent time in various roles, including as Head of Corporate Affairs between 2008 and 2010. There she is, little spinster, doing okay. Yeah, massive contacts in the warmongering, profiteering from other people's brutalisation sector. Private Secretary, I believe, to John Major. Yeah, it does not get more pathetic. She also opts to be untouchable in the contact sector. You're not allowed to have her email address. Yeah, that's the Right Honourable Baroness Stowell of Beeston, MBE. Beeston is Nottingham. Yeah, where we've got that massive laugh about the know-nothings in the low-life sector that is the investigative journalists. Cover up the truth sector, cover up the massive 2,000-year-old religious fraud, and let them believe that the really big criminals are dead already. Yeah, and then you release all of the minor stuff, but you do not focus on the current incumbents and their current massive crimes against democracy. I'm doing it the other way. Night night. And if you fancy a good night out, Baroness Stowell, I'd be quite happy to come gratis to the Opera House with you. Yeah, those are the things that you declare in your registered conflicts of interest. I'm not interested in your body, and I don't know whether or not you have a mind, but I'm going to give you a conscience really quickly, unless you start filling the treasury up again and you use the central bank to fund our democracy, not your personal scams. Right Honourable Baroness Stowell of Beeston, MBE. Night night, everybody.